Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, and I'm sorry if the background have some sort of sounds of like school or anything, but my house is like literally next to a school, like literally just a couple steps immediately at school, so I'm sorry for that. But anyway, I'm thinking of making a Kamen Rider content, which today I'm going to talk about the meaning of Kamen Rider names. Let's begin. First, we have Kamen Rider Ichigo, which is, this one is easy because one in Japanese is Ichi, and they just putting go at the end. It's like one go or something like that. But funnily enough, Ichigo also means strawberry. Then we have Kamen Rider Nigo, which is Ni for two. Next is V3. V3 means victory tree, like that's the full name of Kamen Rider V3. But at the same time, if you say V3, it kind of sounds like victory, at least in the sense of saying it in a Japanese slang. For example, V3, like victory, you know. Riderman doesn't really have a meaning. I think the reason they call it Riderman is because like the fact that he has no mouth part of the helmet, so he kind of looks like those superhero where the mouth part is showing. For example, Skullman. This one is a little bit weird, but Kamen Rider X. Kamen Rider X is based off V, the letter V, which the letter V means 5 in Roman numerical. But at the same time, they made it X because V on the top and V backwards on the bottom makes an X. I don't know why is that. I guess like X is just more cool to be on a name, so yeah. For Amazon, this one is easy. Kamen Rider Amazon is from Amazon. For Stronger, this is basically implying that Kamen Rider Stronger is stronger than any other Kamen Rider that come before him. Sky Rider originally supposed to be a reboot to Kamen Rider, but they were given the name Sky Rider because he can fly. Similar to that, Super 1 was supposed to be Superior Ichigo, that's why he was Super 1. But at the same time, it also kind of implying that it's like saying, oh, this guy is the Super 1. This is not the regular Ichigo, this is the Super 1. The meaning of Z-Cross is like this. Z is taken from the word 0 and cross, which is X, and X is a numerical for 10 in Romans. So Z-Cross means 0, 10. And that was because he is the 10th rider that ever existed. Next is Kamen Rider Black, where this one is more of a something that involves in the law, because the full name of Kamen Rider Black is Kamen Rider Black Sun. Then we have Kamen Rider Black RX, where RX is like, if you say RX in Japanese, it sounds like react. But saying it in the Japanese pronunciation, you get it something like react. Kamen Rider Shin means Kamen Rider New, like new rider or true rider. So basically kind of like saying that this is the true form of Kamen Rider. J means judge. That's all it does. And I'm sorry for Kamen Rider Zo or ZO, I couldn't find anything. I'm sorry for that. This is the only one that I couldn't find anything. Next is Kamen Rider Kuga, which is a shortened version of the word Kuwagata, which means stacked beetle. Agito is a Latin word for I move, which kind of like the idea of Agito keep evolving throughout the series. Gills could be two meaning, one meaning gills, but at the same time, the kanji of gills with gills can also be made into Agito or could be read into Agito. So basically like saying gills also have the same premise as Agito, where they keep evolving, but gills evolve, you know, like wildly. And G3 and G4 just mean Generation 3 and Generation 4. Okay, so for this one, since Kamen Rider Ryuki has its own counterpart in America called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, I'm gonna also like give the name of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight as well. First is Ryuki, which Ryuki directly translates to Dragon Rider. And then we have Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which it's obvious. And then we have Kamen Rider Knight, is also obvious because he's just a knight, and in the English version he was called Kamen Rider Wing Knight. Scissor is like saying crab pincers can be a scissors because, you know, they could like cut things. And the English version is incisors, which is a type of teeth that cut things, basically these teeth. Soldat is like a different way to say the word soldat, which soldat is a German for soldier. And the English version give him the name of Torque. And torque is a measure of force to turn or rotate in axis. Next is Gai. Gai means armor, and also it's like a pun with the name of the animal, Sai, and Sai means rhinoceros. In English, his name is just Thrust. This is Raya, which Raya means something that are related to stingray or ray in general, and also skates. I kind of feel like the reason they give it Raya, like other than the fact that it's a skate stuff, is also probably, like this is not confirmed, but probably something to do with Ultraman Gaia, because the actor is from Ultraman Gaia, even though he plays as Fujimiya, who is Ultraman Agu. But you know, I kind of feel like it could be. In English, it's easier to explain. It is Kamen Rider Sting, which, you know, Stingray has sting. Then we have Kamen Rider Emperor, which is a fusion between the word impaler and impala, like the animal impala. And in English, his name is Spear, which is kind of weird because like his weapon is not necessarily a spear. Of course, you can like spear the weapon, but that doesn't make anything a spear. Like you can spear a broom, that doesn't mean that the broom is a spear. Next is Tiger, because he's a tiger, and in English he was called Axe because he has an axe. Oja means king of snakes. In English he is called Strike, and I think it's all because. Next is Verde, which is Spanish for green, and for the English version he was called as Camo, which is a short version of the word camouflage, and it's all because his design is based off chameleon. Next is Femi, which is the other word for feminine, and in the English version her name is Siren, which Siren is a female creature that basically sing to lure people out. Next is Odin, which is based off Norse god Odin, but in English he was called Wrath, like a wrath of a god. Ryuga means dragon fang, but in English they call it onyx, which is based off a mineral. All the rider in Kamen Rider Faiz is based off Greek symbols. Let's start with Kamen Rider Faiz, which is based on 5, but in plural, so Faiz, and it also rhymes with number 5. Next is Kamen Rider Kaisa, which is based off Kai, and also a word Kaiser. Then we have Delta, which is based on Delta symbol, Saiga, which is based off Sai, and Oga based on Omega. For Kamen Rider Blade, it's a theme of trump cards and at the same time tarot cards. So we start with Kamen Rider Blade, which is based on suit of blades. Then we have Garen, which Garen means guardian. Next is Kalis. Kalis is a word for a different kind of cup, like a fancy cup, but at the same time, once again, it's based on a tarot card, suit of cups. Langle is a name of a club, like not a club, like a club, the weapon, and it's also based on a suit of club. Glaive is a type of sword, and Lag is a type of verb for arrows, basically an arrow that was tossed through the air. Then we have Kamen Rider Lance, which is based on a spear movement, which is lancing. And now we're gonna have like a very long talk about Hibiki. Hibiki derived of a lot of puns with demons. Ki is a word for demons or oni. So every single name of Hibiki is like something demon. Like if I am a strong demon, then I will be Saikyo Ki or Saiki as a pun, like Saiki. Hibiki is a combination between Hibiku and Ki, which means echoing demon. Ibuki is majestic breath, Ibuki, and demon. Todoroki is based on Todori Teiru, which means roaring, and Ki, demon. Zanki means beheaded demon, which Zan is not really a word for beheaded, but there are a word for it, which is Zanshu. Then we have Danki, which is combination of Dangan and Ki, which means bullet demon. Then we have Sabaki, which Sabak means judgment, and Ki, demon, so judgment demon. Shoki is a combination of Shori and demon, so victorious demon. Toki is a combination of Toketsu, which means freezing, and demon, so freezing demon. Kirameki is a combination of Kira Kira, which is some sort of glittering sound, like Kira Kira. We have Shuki, which is bloody demon. Amaki, which is heavenly demon. Eki, which means sharp demon. Kyoki, which means strong demon. Kabuki means festive demon. Nishiki means western demon. and Habataki means feathered demon. Alright, this one is a lot easier. We start off with the most easiest one, Kabuto. Kabuto means Kabuto Mushi, which is a rhinoceros meter. Gata is from Kuwagata and attack. Zabi, or that's what the pronunciation of it, where the English name is the bee. And the reason they call it the bee, despite the Kamen Rider is based off a wasp, is because in Japan there is no word to differentiate these animals. So bee, wasp, hornet, yellow jacket, and anything like that, they all have the same name. Sasor is based on Sasori, which is scorpion, and sword. Drake is a type of dragon, and the reason they give a name of a dragon to this Kamen Rider is because the Kamen Rider is based off dragonfly. Kick Hopper and Punch Hopper is self-explanation. Hercules is the short version of Hercules beetle. Ketaros is the Japanese pronunciation of Centaurus beetle, and Caucasus is just Caucasus beetle. Kamen Rider Den-O takes the word from Densha, which means train, and O, which means king. Then we have Zeronos, which means zero, and Chronos, like a combination of those two. Nega Den-O is a short for negative Den-O, where negative is seen as a bad thing. And that's why Negataros is black, because Momotaros is red and have like black lining on him, like a black accent, black eye, while Negataros is like a negative version of that, where he has a black body but a red accent and like red eye. Yuki is a Japanese word for miasma, and miasma is some sort of smell that are unpleasant that comes from a vapor. Kiva is shortened for King of Vampire, but at the same time it also means Kiba. Like Japanese person trying to say Kiva would always end up being Kiba, and Kiba means fang. Next is Ixa. Ixa means mystery side, which is interesting because the character in Kamen Rider Kiva and Ixa is like they are known to each other. Like Wataru and the guy Ixa, like they're kind of like a friend or like brother sibling relationship. They don't know like they are like Kamen Rider. So that's like you have a mystery version of yourself, or you have a mystery side of yourself. But at the same time, Ixa is a play on Japanese word Ikusa, which means battlefield. Kamen Rider Rei means king or wise. Japanese Rei could also mean cold. Kamen Rider Arc is a play on Japanese word that is Aku, which means demon. The word decade comes from decade, and I think the reason they call it decade is how Japanese people pronounce decade. But I don't want to like, hear anyone says it Kamen Rider decade, even though that is what it is. Then we have Kamen Rider DN, which is play on words on the end using the words die and end. This one is self-explanation. At the same time, I feel like I could like explain a bit more, but this is more of my theory on it or my take on it, where Kamen Rider W means Kamen Rider, double because there's two people, but I think it's also like play on words like double U, like there's two of you. Then we have Axel, which is the short for acceleration. Core, because he was born from the core of Earth. Then we have Kamen Rider Oz, which it's kind of sounds like Wizard of Oz, but the real meaning is Oz is a multiple king, because O means king, so O means multiple kings, and also it just like complements the design of the belt. And I think the reason it's called multiple king is because Kamen Rider Oz used multiple species to make his power. So it's like Taka Torabata, like creature of the wind, creature of the land, and just insects. Then we have Kamen Rider Birth, which basically saying that this power is birth from the core metal. Kamen Rider Aqua means water. Kamen Rider Poseidon is taken from the name of a Greek god, Poseidon. This one is interesting, where Kamen Rider Fourze is a combination of the number 4 and 0, because this series came out in the 40th anniversary of Kamen Rider. Next we have Kamen Rider Meteor, which is self-explained, but Nadeshiko is a term in Japanese which means feminine beauty. Wizard is wizard, Beast is a guy who get the power from a beast. Mage is mage. Sorcerer is sorcerer. I don't think I need to explain this one. This one I definitely need to explain. First we have Kamen Gaim. Gaim is a combination of the word Gai, which is armor, as we established earlier, and Mu, which means warrior. So Baron is a rank in chivalry. Ryugen means mysterious dragon. Kurokage is combination of Kuro, which means black, and Kage means shadows. Zangetsu basically means slaying the moon. Duke is a type of leader in a country, which I don't think is still in use. Bravo just means some sort of congratulation in Italy, or like cheering, like bravo. But at the same time, it's also some sort of alphabet in military. Sigurd is the name of a hero in Norse mythology. Marika is actually an Arabic word called Malika, which means queen, but they were pronounced in the Japanese way, so it kind of sounds like someone's name in Japan, Marika. Knuckle because of his big knuckle. Bujin Gaim, which we already know, Gaim means armored warrior, but Bujin means martial god, so his full name will be martial god armored warrior. Idun is a warrior in Norse mythology, and this name is also related to apple and youth. Kamuro is a Japanese word for crown. Cham is a Japanese pun for evil warrior, Jamu. Mars, despite sounding like a name of a planet, it's not, because the planet was based off a Norse mythology god, Mars. And 15 is made because he is the villain that used all of the Kamen Rider from the Heisei era, which at the time there's only 15 of them, including Gaim. Then we have Kamen Rider Drive, which basically, driving a car, but at the same time it also symbolizes driving your mentality. Mach is a type of measurement of speed. Chaser is because the character itself loves to follow around, chasing you. And finally, Lupin. A lot of people says it's Lupin. I heard a lot of people saying that Sentai one, Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger. It's not Lupin Ranger, it's Lupin Ranger. And Lupin is not a word with meaning, it's the name of someone. His name was Arsène Lupin, and he is a legendary thief of French. This one is a lot easier. Kamen Rider Ghost just means he's a ghost. Spectre is another word for ghost. Necro means necromancer, which is a type of people who study to basically bring back the dead. And finally we have Extrema, which means this guy is just extreme. Kamen Rider X8 is a combination between the word X-side and 8. Brave was chosen for this Kamen Rider is because he is a knight, and usually in a lot of RPG they use Brave to symbolize some sort of knight. Sometimes there's a knight called Brave. The word Brave is like a staple in RPG. Then we have Snipe, which makes sense for a FPS game. Laser is a pun for racer, but only if you're Japanese, because laser, if trying to say the word laser in Japanese, it goes off with Reza. Genmu is a pun for game. At the same time, Genmu means fantasy dream. Paradox is a play on word for paradox, palette, paramedics, and also diagram. Cronus is the name of Titan leader in Norse mythology. Kamen Rider Brute, also self-explained, it means he built the power, you can build a combination of the power. Then we have Cross Z, and the reason he was called Cross Z is because the human body, there's a gene that was labeled as X and Y, but Ryuga Banjo body is altered, so changing the Y into Z is like saying he has been changed. Grease is just an English word for grease, which is a liquid that are usually on a machine. It's like an oil. Rogue being dishonesty, which is a characteristic of the character. Evil is short for evolution. Killbus is an abbreviation, combination, and alteration of the word and the phrase substitute killing. Dio is a play on word and a pun and a combination of Jiku, which means time, and O, which means king. So combine it together, you become the king of time. Gaze is a pun for gates. And then we have was, which I couldn't found anything other than was could mean nerd who obsessed with books, which makes sense. So it could be that was is a famous name to be given to a genius character. Tsukuyomi means moon god. Shinobi means male ninja, Kikai means machine, Ginga means galaxy, and then we have the three rider called Parlux, which is a abbreviation and alteration of Kamen Rider Black RX, because he used the power of Kamen Rider Black and Kamen Rider Black RX. And then we have Zonjis, which is a combination between Kamen Rider Z-O, J, and Shin. And finally, Zamonas is like an alteration for the word Amazons. Name 01 was given to Kamen Rider 01 because he is the first of the Reiwa series, and also saying 01, like if you put 0 and 1 in Japanese, you could pronounce it as Rei and 1. So Rei 1, but remove the N, then we got Reiwa. Vulcan is a type of gun. Valkyrie is a type of warrior, specifically female warrior. Fourze is an abbreviation of 1000. Jin is Japanese for speed. Orobi is Japanese for destroy. Naki is Japanese for death. Ikazuchi is Japanese for thunder. And then we have Eden, which is a type of heaven in Bible, which is called Garden of Eden. Going on to Kamen Rider Saber, we have an easy explanation, starting with Saber, which is another word for sword. Blades, which means plural of blade and swords. Espada, which is a Spanish for sword. Buster, which is a kind of gigantic sword, like from the show itself, it shows that he has a big sword. And also, if you want me to give another example, look at Guts from Berserk. We have Kenzan, which is a pun for Ken, which means sword, and Zan, meaning slash, so sword slash. Then we have Caliber, which is a shortened version of Excalibur. Falchion, which is the type of sword that you use for one hand. Psycho, which means the brightest, and it's kind of like a reference to the fact that he's a sword of light. Then we have Sabela, which is a Japanese version of saying the German word Sablia. I definitely butchered that.
Shablia.
But it means saber. Next we have Durandal, which is the name of the sword. And then we have Solomon, which is based off King of Solomon. And at the end of Kamen Rider Saber, we have Storius, which is based on story and Deus. And Deus as in Latin for God. Next is Kamen Rider Revice, where it's a Hebrew for connection. And vice is an English word for wicked. So when you combine Revice and vice, we have Revice, which basically kind of mean connecting with the wicked. Life and evil is just a palindrome. Like, it's a word that makes sense for the character, and it's a palindrome. And if you don't know what palindrome is basically a word where no matter how you look at it, like no matter how you read it, like from front or different, it has certain meanings. Like life means, life, and evil means evil. Next is John, which is based on Jeanne d'Arc, which is a French heroine. Next is Kamen Rider Century, which century means 100 of years. I feel like it's confirmed, right? Like George is a big fan of Kamen Rider, specifically Kuga. And they just use that and give it a J. Instead of Kuga, we have Juga. But I also think Jew also play a part in his design, because the word Jew is like a beast or animal, and his power is based on tons of animals. So it's basically like Kuga but with beast power. And finally we have three riders from the newest series, that is Gacha, which is based on gacha, like Gayu, gacha as in gacha games, and finally it's also a combination of cards, so Gachar. And then we have Mazad, but basically it means smart or analytic mind people. And at last we have Kamen Rider Dread, which Dread basically means a type of fear, or like a fear in itself. That's all from me. I know I didn't talk about Wolverine, but I'm trying to find Wolverine and couldn't find anything, so I just gave up. But maybe I could do a part 2, I'm not promising this. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I wish you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. What the hell?